is. It's... Ooh. And welcome to the fellow Cochrane channel viewers. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. It helps this channel grow and it helps me bring you these great videos that we all love. So we've got another unboxing for you today of the brand new release from E-Flite of the UMX Timber X. We're going to go through the unboxing. There's no assembly because it comes pre-assembled. We're going to go through some of the radio setups, and there's a little bit of a glitch here that I found that I'll show you in case you guys have had a problem with it. And then there's also kind of a critical update that I found in the manual with some dimensions that we'll go over too. I'll show you some of the batteries that will fit inside this plane, and then at the end we'll do a little comparison to the Turbo Timber UMX. They're almost exactly the same plane, but they are entirely different. So we'll do a little comparison at the end. Okay, not much of an unboxing because it's all one piece, but you can see how it comes. It shows us our optional floats here. These fit on the other UMX plane too. A couple nice pictures on it and the specs and stuff here. So there's really not much of an unboxing here because it's all in one piece. It comes with this nice little kind of cradle thing that holds it into the box. We took the tape off of that. Okay, here's our plane out of the box. It's got some beautiful yellow and black decals on there, which I'm a big fan of. On the tail too. And then on the underside we've got some nice demarcation as well. Nice close down the side. Of course our little hatch comes off to show our battery compartment. You can see our electronics in there and the brushless motor. One of the special features on this plane is it has ball link connectors on all the surfaces, which is something you see on usually more expensive planes, and it's got plastic reinforcement around some of the things, right where in the elevator there where I'm pointing, and also a metal bar that goes inside it to help stiffen it and used as a control mechanism. So that's pretty cool. So another thing is, like, if you already have a Turbo Timber and you grab this, you'll immediately feel it's a little bit more substantial, a little bit more heavier. It is, I think this is 137 grams compared to like 123 grams of the other one. Not a big difference, but you can feel it. The wings are substantially thicker. They're, I would say, almost half an inch at least. So they're quite comparable to the UMX A10 Warthog up there. If you have one of those, it's got quite thick wings to it. It's a quite substantial plane. So this thing just feels like very tough and solid just in your hands holding it. Quite a bit more than the Turbo Timber does. I think it's just because it's a little bit more stout and, you know, you've got these more substantial wings to it. It's also got cool navigation lights on the thing. There's ones on the bottom on each wing and some on the nose too, which you'll see when we plug a battery into. And then, so you may notice on the top of the wing there, I've got some little marks already for the CG. So it looks like either they made a mistake in the manual or they've changed something, or I don't know, because inside the manual there was this little piece of paper that's basically got updated specs from what it says in the manual. So in the manual it tells you that the CG is 42 millimeters from the front of the wing, as most planes are measured. But in this update sheet it says it's 56 millimeters. So that's quite a difference, especially on such a small plane. Even on a bigger plane we would say that's quite a big difference. They usually always have a plus or minus, but that's a big difference on this plane. So I think they maybe made a mistake when they printed the first manual. And then there's also on this sheet a full kind of setup how to do the flaperons just in an acro model. So in case you can't get it working on the normal radio setup. So that seems like a good time to jump into the radio setup here. So sometimes these UMX planes can be a little weird, so don't be surprised if you have to maybe do something twice, bind it twice, reload the model maybe twice. It's not unheard of. And then switching models around there and stuff, so sometimes it seems to lose its bind easier than other planes will lose their bind, but it's just the nature of the UMX, how they go. So anyway, on the new updated model list from Spectrum RC, you'll find that there's two versions of this plane. It's one that just says Timber X and one that says Timber X with flaps. It also says UMX, so make sure you're not confusing it with the bigger model, which is 1.2 meters wide. So I downloaded the one that had actually both of them, but I loaded the one that had the flaps in it. But I couldn't get it working until I did the procedure that was in this manual. So what they're asking you to do is you do your normal bind with the thing and get it into safe mode, but what they're asking you to do with the radio is to push, I think, one down and one to the upper corner like this, and then flip your gear switch back and forth 5 times, and then that's what activated the flaperons, and they were on my normal flap switch on the radio. So it does say that here in the manual to do it. So on this page here it lists the normal safe thing on the top with putting the 2 sticks down to the bottom corner, but as you can see at the bottom diagram, it shows you to push them to the upper corners and hit that gear switch. So the gear switch is also using it to putting it into safe mode too. So it's a little confusing, but it does work. So I couldn't get the flaps to work until I did that. I tried a couple of different methods, but I couldn't get the flaps to work on the switch properly until and to be in the flaperon setting until I did what it just said in the manual. So just in case you guys have any trouble, go through that, and again you might have to do it a time or two before that. So let's jump into the batteries. Okay, so batteries. So it will take the 7.4 300 milliamp battery, but it'll also take an 11.1 3-cell. And that's one of the main reasons that I got this plane, was looking for that extra performance and stuff. I've also got, so that's the little Spectrum one. It's very square, and it kind of wants to go right to the nose as far as the CG goes from what I can see. But I've also got these other ones that are a little bit longer from Beta FPV that I'm going to try out on them too. And what I've made is a little, I should have showed you, but so there's the little adapters that I made. There's JST to XT30s. I made both male and females on them, and you just plug that into your battery, and away you go. So I just made a little adapter. You can buy said adapter, but you can also make it too if you have a soldering gun. So I'm probably really not going to fly this thing on 2S very much, because to me I want this for acrobatic purpose. And it looks to me like it has the same motor. Actually, it does exactly the same motor as the Micro Pitts has in it. The board looks the same too, even though it is 1-digit serial number different. The servos are actually a different serial number than the ones that are in some of the other planes, and they look very fast and snappy to me, and you'll see that when I put the battery in. So it's basically got the same power system as the Micro Pitts has, and this thing is a bomb on 3S. It just goes like crazy. It's got tons of performance. Now if you're looking for a 3D or acrobatic plane, I would definitely highly recommend this plane. And I have no doubt that this new Timber X is going to be awesome as well. We'll just, I guess, lastly put a battery in and fire it up, and you guys can hear it and see it and have the little lights going, and then we'll call it a day. Okay, so there's the model there. It's Turbo Timber X with flaps. Everything's working just fine. You can see the lights on it there. They look pretty cool. Got navigation lights, front lights, top and bottom. So everything's working okay. We got throttle cut working, and our flaps are working. We've got safe mode working. Yep. So you can see these servos are really snappy on this plane, especially the ailerons. They seem much quicker, and they are a different model number servo than what's in the Turbo Timber. So let's pull that out for one little final comparison. Can't wait to fly this thing. Been waiting on some calm weather for several days now. Okay, and then just to finish off, there's a little comparison here of the Turbo Timber and the Timber X. So as you can see, the wingspan is quite a bit wider on the TT than the X. So this is 700 millimeters, this is 570 millimeters. And then it's also quite a bit wider, the wing on the X compared. And then the body itself, the fuselage, is a little bit shorter and stubbier on the X model than on the TT. And if you look at the nose, especially, the nose is a little bit longer and skinnier, and then the nose on this one, it's a little bit shorter and stubbier. And there's also quite a big difference in the elevator on the back too. This one has a massive amount of surface area because it goes down the sides of it as well. This is a big elevator on this plane as well, but it's just not quite as big as this guy here is, right? So hey, buy both. I mean, I'm sure this plane is a great flyer. It feels a little bit more rugged and stiffer mostly because of the wings on here. And I said the fuselage feels a little bit more stout. But they're both great planes. If I could only choose one, you know, I would probably choose the X because it can take the 3S battery and it's going to give you that more zing and stuff there to it. But hard choice. So that's our show for you today, folks. Love and peace from Canada. And we are YouTube.